Hello and welcome back to Songs of Six. Yes, welcome back to Songs of Six. Where has it been? Where has it been? Atlantic City, Gardavania, all these cities I've been making, all of the Songs of Six I've been playing. And for so long now, I looked at myself and I said, man, I've been playing this game almost daily for a long time. For a very long time. Even before I made my channel, I was playing it almost daily. So, I took a few days. I took a few days to just relax. Not consciously. I didn't really sit here and think about that, really, to be honest. But, I did take a few days playing Half Sword, recovering a little bit on some sleep that I've been missing, because I've been drained recently. And this has nothing to do with YouTube. Literally zero. Zilch. Nada. I love doing this. It's my favorite thing to do. Gaming is amazing. But sometimes even you can be too tired to game. Which is a sad, sad thought when you become an old, decrepit 27-year-old man who works overnight. It's mostly my overnight schedule, which is being altered. But if you question where these things are going and why I'm talking about it, it's because it's relevant to the series and all of my channel. So, bear with me. Irregardless, though, I'm back, and I kind of neglected to mention that Jake, too, is back, and that is something that is amazing. It's amazing to see he is back from his little vacation. I guess you could call it a vacation for his children, not him. But he was taking care of them over the summer. And according to the devlog on Songs of Six Discord, which you can go check out, I'll have a link in the description. I'll be sure to try to remember that. I always forget. It's never anything like that. I'm not a very corporatized guy, but I do these things because I think joining this community, especially Songs of Six, is a big thumbs up. Join, get in a Discord, get active. It's amazing, and Jake is going to be adding V.67 soon. Oh my god, it is amazing. So, we have a lot to go over at V.67. I always want to say 6.6, because there's a lot of games that have a lot of 6s right now. 6.7, 6.8, Project Zomboid specifically. So I kind of get them mixed up. But no, we have so much to go over, and I have to actually condense that all into a video. Obviously, we're playing my beautiful little Atlantic City here in the background. And to its credit, it really has achieved exactly what a city should. I've gotten everything I really need to go. I just haven't got, like, noble houses, etc. like that. So, while I talk, I'm going to talk, and I'll likely go off and build on my own. But I do want to update you guys on the status on V.67. If you're not active in the Discord and you don't pay attention to Jake, personally in the Discord, he doesn't update the game on Steam like that, like a lot of devs do, because he's one man and he doesn't really have the time to be typing all that, but he does actually keep very, very accurate logs of everything he's done, and I've asked him for some before, so I could probably ask him for some in the future, and he's very nice enough to copy and paste his little list of things that he's updated and changed, basically for his devlog. Which is amazing. So, One of those amazing things that I wanted to go over, which is the most recent of things that I've seen from him, because it is a massive, massive update. There's going to be layers to it. Like, we thought Canals was going to be big. We thought Canals had a lot. Jake really, really cooked. He cooked a lot. He cooked a 7-course meal with desserts, appetizers, sides. He's got salad bar. He's got it all coming in, and you guys don't even fucking know. And to stop hesitating in this topic, we're going to talk about how each race is going to have their own specific, I guess, nouns or phrases that they would use towards others of their kin or others of others' species. So we're going to start to see some of that mild racism start to pop up here, where the Amevians, for example, will say, like, my scaly fish friend, and shit like that. I don't remember what they all say, but they're really funny and really cute names. And we're going to get to see that for all of them. And to top that off, I believe the number is over 200 new events, which will have typed out writing and so on and so forth. Basically, like, when you get a drought, these things, requests and droughts and stuff. So there's going to be over 200 new and different written out ones, not by Jake, but by a friend of the community. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. I'll try to do my best and come back and edit that name in above here, so that you guys can give him a little bit of that credit. Mentally, it's nothing you can really do beside that, because this is all a passion project. This is all Songs of Six ever has been. It's all it has ever been for me. The fact that I get paid by YouTube is just a plus. It's just a plus or on a plus side there. And to be honest, it's all gonna go back straight to Songs of Six, because to be fair, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stop daily playing when V.67 comes out. A lot of the time I get into this daily play because it's the game. It's not that I'm forced to do so, or the streaming or the recording. I call it streaming. It's not streaming, it's recording. But I just love Songs of Six in general. I cannot get enough of it, and we also should probably pop these back doors open here. I'm just looking at the areas while I talk, and I do this. I recommend you do this too. I recommend you go there and just pull up a fucking song or something in the background. Well, the soundtrack for this game is pretty dang too, but if you want, you can turn it down, listen to some of your own music, and just look at an area for a bit and kind of break it down in your head, you know. But like I said, as V.67 comes, there is going to be so much. Jake has plans for boats, and there's going to be new army system for bandits that are on the world map, plus all of the new events, the new species names to call each other. There's a huge revamp to all kinds of different logistics and maintenance systems, not just including the logistic systems that we have now, where he had adjusted these radiuses and so forth, but radii, so much, so much. And like I said, I'm gonna leave that probably for a specific video breaking down the devlog. I'll have to break it down, and I might even incorporate some help, because it is one of the biggest. But I think that the old stinky fiend brain can probably pump it out by myself, because I've done it before, and I can do it again. And these things are very, very imperative for me, and I think the community to see. I don't want to garner anything from this in any way. I mostly just want to see that people gain some insight into the future of this. That's why this video is not even going to have any mention of the V.67 update, so that in the future, when people are looking it up, they don't get this video. They'll get this if they specifically are searching through my old videos and stuff like that. Because I've had people in the past complain to me that they hate YouTube bloat. They cannot stand. Sorry, I thought someone was banging, but it was instead somebody's pop funk music. Sounded like someone who was also banging. It's crazy. That's how loud it was. But no, I've seen that somebody say that they dislike the YouTube bloat for series and stuff like that, and I can see where that comes from. I think that it's definitely annoying when you see, like, my series every day for a long-ass time. Some people don't want that. I do understand that. I actually am aware of that. But for me, I'm coming from the old school. the old school YouTube game here. And in my opinion, daily uploads and series is what I grew up on, what I liked watching. And it never bothered me to see someone have a new series or even just a small breakdown video, whatever. Just if I enjoyed their content, I enjoyed their content. So that's the reason. Irregardless. When V.67 comes out, we will have so very much to do, and I think that it's going to be hitting alpha very soon, roughly right after I do my intravenous series. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to continue on here in the background, get some work done in this city, and I will be back in a minute. Right, here we are. We're back. And although I didn't really do much on the home front, I did a lot on the world front. So, we encircled Pasithale here. He has quite a sizable army of 900 people over here in this little town. I'm going to take his capital. I had to unfortunately disband my army. I've realized that the conscripts are kind of useless. As they were before, they still are extremely costly. For what they're worth, it's not worth it. I constantly was running out of bows. I couldn't keep up with the bows that they needed. Although I wasn't really submitting that many people to work at the Boyer, so that could have been the problem. I think that's probably the problem. But they just were taking so many bows, and then our rations were running out too. Not running out of rations, but like the depot couldn't keep up with what they needed. So I got rid of them. And I will probably send some of our Mevian troops out there and eventually get them trained up so they can be useful in the world region. I forgot to, and kind of neglected to mention this area though, which is doing really well. I came over here and gave them nice new pools for the front. All the laborers get these nice pools, and you can see we are loaded on Shade here. We've got more Shade than we could ever possibly need, and we aren't using it right now, so I need to actually... Oh, that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the technology. We had ran out of tools. We had a few stoppages, few blockages here, but now that we have this, we're going to go to the distribution, so we're going to have a tavern. And one of the things that we're going to need to do is build a nice big old tavern, probably in here. And what I like to do is build them with enough space to actually be utilized. But I try to make them like a bar, you know, like it's going to be a quick stop, you know. These people are only going to come here and grab a drink, so 320, that should be good. Let's see, can I get some knickknacks in here that will get it up to the 100 that I need it to be at? Because you always want to have your coziness at max there. I could use carpets, and I think that maybe a carpet would be a better option because I could probably get away with more tables. So we're going to try the carpet strat. Yep, the carpet strat looks like it's going to work for me. Some of these buildings work like this, some of the buildings do not work like this. I don't really know what it is, other than maybe balance standpoint, that makes Jake do these things. Actually, let's see if we can't do something like that. Of course, it's gonna look like crap. Well, irregardless, we've got a nice little tavern coming in here, and we're gonna put a door in the center here for these guys to access it, and we're gonna get those guys to build it. Meanwhile, you always want to kind of put a warehouse, in my opinion, for the same building attached to it, especially when it comes to like food service buildings. So we're gonna give them, and I'd call this a food service building. Give them a nice warehouse here. Put that right there. And so what I did was I kind of went through and I decorated certain areas. I'm still working on decorations. Decorations are definitely one of my weaker points. Design, definitely one of my weaker points. So I've kind of been trying more and more to do a little bit more designing. You can see, like, I put this fishery in here. I thought it was nice to have a little fishery. This one's not as nice as this fishery over here, where I have the fishery kind of connected to the noble zone I've made. And I have the houses for the nobleman's servants right behind it here. So the servants live behind them. And we have some nice wells, a little bit of like a park area with some good stone floors, speakers, all their services, and then pools on the side, kind of lining the water so that they can get either awe swimming or they can get the natural, good old-fashioned dirty mud and shit on their feet. But, you know, I like pools. Personally, I'm more inclined to go and swim in a pool. And as you can see, these guys are filling the hell out of this thing up. And I like to do these. This is a design I really like to do. I call it C-shape. So we've got a little C-shape around the hearth or any kind of building I want to build it around. So that way I can have my cake and eat it too. These guys can work and get hearth access right inside of itself there. And obviously we have houses right here. I've been purchasing slaves. I purchased a ton of slaves, and we're going to get these guys to go walk down the street and pull Shade. Get a couple workers there. I purchased a bunch of them. Let's see what my title looks like right now. We have 225 freed out of 5,000. That is a lot of people to get in free. But I think over time, if you see what I do here, is I just free. So that's going to be like 250 or so. I think personally, 5,000 slaves is a huge number. If I get that achievement, I'm definitely going to be in one of the top achievement holders right there. Because I do not think many people have that. It's just really extensive to get freeing 5,000. And the idea, I guess, is maybe you'd capture them in battle and free them after each battle. But if you could manage that level of anger that would come from that, then you deserve more than just an achievement. You deserve some kind of medal, because this game is very challenging when you get a lot of those people like that. If I check my services here, we're at 86% happiness, only because some of our things are dropping, like law, a little bit of environmental issues, services. So I need to still continue to expand those, and that'll help that we just put in a nice tavern. You can see we've got the tavern there. And these guys are going to start to fill that up. We'll probably have to get a transport hauler to fill the Shade here, but I figured that maybe since he's straight down the street, we didn't need to do that. So we'll see if our guys can keep up with the services here. After all, they do drink a lot of alcohol, and hopefully they don't just start plowing through our reserves of Shade. But as we're not producing Piva, it seems to work. I do not know if you can give your troops the Shade as a supplement or a substitute for... No, it has to be Piva specifically. So I think that if you really wanted to min-max your alcohol situation and you were really struggling with it, you could definitely allocate the Shade for drinking and the Piva for alcohol for the military. And that way you get your morale booster. Morale is going to be definitely one of those things that people have to watch and worry about. As later games, military is going to be basically 100 versus 100 guys at very high training, or 150, whatever. And these groups are going to be pummeling each other. And unless you go and you actually get the technology, which is right here for like offensive and defensive skill, you will not have the ability to beat the enemy back. You will likely just stalemate, and depending on their attack or their formation or the way things are forming in the battle, you may lose morale and actually collapse. So morale is one of those things you really want to get going, and having a supplement of the PIVA in your army would be a very, very useful thing, especially if you're having struggles with morale or keeping order. Things like Crotonians, humans, they're really going to benefit from getting Shade and their, or PIVA, sorry. Beer, basically, and this is wine. But as you can see, our numbers are going up still on the Shade. It seems like they're keeping up with all of that. And we're doing really, really well. So the goal now is to just continuously keep expanding. We can see that our wood is one of our lowest points. Obviously don't care about grain and herbs because we don't need these things. And Scythalon, I think, is one of those things. Oop, sorry. Scythalon is one of those things that I think that definitely I can solve. For some reason, though, tools are a contention point in my city as well, so I need to start putting more people towards making tools. But we have a good supply of pretty much everything. As you can see, our Amevians aren't bad at working. They are actually very good at working, but if I was to spend all my time constantly upgrading and building and putting more things like I normally do, I would be at 0, like I normally am. But I've been sitting here focused on just sitting and decorating little tiny bits, a little bit more of the conquest side, a little bit more on just like what specific little problems are affecting my citizens. So for example, law. Law was a really big one. Law is always going to be a big one. Get used to, I think the idea really you should get used to doing this. We as players really don't understand numbers sometimes because we're so used to so many other games, and this isn't like a jab because I do the same thing, but I think that you really have to get used to putting like 16 guards instead of one single guard post. You need to put like 2 or 3 or even 4 in one single area just to maintain that law, because you see all of these guards are here, right? But currently, when I'm hovering over it, there's only about 2 right now, you see? 3. So if you sit here and you watched it for the whole duration, at any given point, you only have about 50% of those workers at the guard post. So in reality, you need 2 so that you have all 8 to be active at the same time. And if you wanted to have 16, this seems to hold up true with a lot of services, a lot of jobs, a lot of things in general. So like if I look at this one, we have 17 market workers, which is way too many. We'll drop that down to like 9. Because to be honest, there's this here, and like I said, about 5 or 6 of them, actually 4 of them at a time will be roughly working here, grabbing stuff from this little building. Meanwhile, when you have it like this, 2 guys, you can only have 1 or 2 at a time. Barely the second guy will ever be there at the same time. So just keep that in mind. I know it's a later game episode here, so it's kind of like, I always think like, well, I'm telling a bunch of veterans what to do, but I imagine that some people might not even think of that, especially myself. I often forget that. Oh my god, it keeps looking like the floor is degrading. I'm trying to find where degradation is occurring, because I do not have a lot of janitors, but somehow degradation is not an issue, so hopefully it stays that way. Regardless, thank you guys for watching. I know this video has been all over the place, but I just wanted to get back to Songs of 6. I've been itching to play some of this game, and I've been interested more to see what the Amevians look like at a larger scale, because this is like my largest, I think, almost at 2,000 Amevians and rising, and I obviously purchased more and more of them. I'm okay with spending $1 million on some Amevians and then just freeing them all and just letting them slowly get back to happiness. And you can see our guys are happy again. simply because we added that one service, that tavern. Once we had like a restaurant, once we had a barber, massage parlor, we have all of the technology, all the things we need necessary to do that. So we were at that point where we could just start constantly expanding and growing and growing. So, anyways, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!